So they raid this mansion in Smithland, Kentucky. Come to find out, there is the owner, Mr. Waltz, had a man in there and was torturing him for Bitcoin passwords. This is 20 miles physically from here right now. The next day, I get a call from a family services worker. She tells me that there was a 13-year-old girl that was found in a ditch outside of that property. She said, this isn't being talked about. That little girl only spoke German.
The opinions of the guests and host are their own and do not represent the opinions of Ironclad, the Border Patrol, or the Department of Homeland Security.
Welcome to Borderland Narcosis, an Ironclad original presented by Phorm Supplements. Don't forget to pick up your Phorm Supplements at firstphorm.com/borderland. My next guest is Jon Griggs. We had him on previously about a very corrupt situation that he was involved in as a investigator on a corrupt ranch. And you guys might remember that episode. This is a follow-up to that, and we get deeper into more things that he has discovered and unraveled. Let's go check it out. So for the audience, the last time that we talked, Jon was part of an investigation of McLean Farms in Benton, Kentucky. And what happened was he was called on behalf of who was it, Jon, who called you to hire you?
The trustee's office contracted.
There you go. Yeah, the U.S. trustee's office called you to go ahead and secure everything on the land as they further investigate what happened. Mr. McLean himself took his own life. At the same time, two other individuals took their own life that are associated with him. You came in to secure the area and started doing some of your own observations, taking pictures of the land and identifying like, hey, this looks a little odd. As you further investigated some areas, you found boxes of invoices and things that looked like they were trying to be hid, put into a barn, hidden. You found a bunch of medication. You found a lot of different things. Upon further investigation and trying to unravel this, you started getting threats on your own life because you were digging a little too far, and two, starting to identify that this is a potential money laundering situation and connecting it to a cartel that you believe is a CJNG cartel. Correct?
Correct.
And so when you first hit me up, I was like, I'm confused. And since we've talked, I've been able to talk to a lot of other individuals in the cattle space who have been able to better also explain to me how many levels of potential corruption happens in this case. And so I would love to catch up on where we're at now in this investigation and what are some things that you've probably identified and maybe things, that are new in the case.
Sure thing. Sure. Yeah. And it's awesome to be back. The audience last time was great. We had some people reach out, offer their own assistance, and that was really cool. So I'm very thankful to be here and be back and be with you today. Absolutely. Just really excited. So the first update, let's just get the numbers out of the way. Last time when we sat down, we were around $2 billion. That's where we sat at. Now with the adversary proceeding in Northern Texas, we're sitting at $4.5 billion. So we have doubled, and we knew that was going to happen. And we always set this around $6 billion based upon grabbing all of the payment sheets, doing an average of, we picked 50 up, took 25, added them up, counted how many sheets, and came up with a median. And that was around $6 billion. So now we're seeing in court documents, these are available through the federal court system. With intra-bank transfers, we're looking at $10 billion, up to $10 billion. Since we last interviewed and talked, we have gotten the payment sheets on 2,000 payments. So every single penny for that $4.5 billion, we have accounted for. And we have who it went to. We have how many transactions there were. It's shocking. Some of the people we've had to sift through, because a lot of these, we don't know who is who. We recognize around 130 of these people. So we just took names, did cursory searches, dialed them in more, dialed them in. And through that 4.5 billion, 2,000 individuals were paid. And there are people that we hadn't even seen before that got money, and alarming amounts. One gentleman locally got $232 million.
Locally, like you're saying, close to you.
15 miles away.
And this gentleman, you don't have to say his name. It's up to you, however you want to go with this. But what do they do for a living?
Portable sheds.
You don't have to say that either.
Yeah.
Portable sheds.
Portable sheds. Yeah, it seems to be extremely lucrative. Very much so.
Does the company itself seem like it pulls in that kind of money on average?
No way. My parents went to Home Depot and bought one. Why do you need such a special customized outdoor shed? And so we'll get into later on. We took a trip. We investigated all the way down in Florida. That was very fruitful.
Let me ask you, do you still see a connection to a criminal organization like the Cartel? Is this something you still believe is involved in this?
Absolutely. Because of the initial Rabo Bank. It all started with that initial seed money with Rabo. And, through further investigation, Rabo is, there's more and more fraud. And there is another investigation that's going on internationally with the Deutsche Bank and Rabo for human trafficking. And Rabo is a subsidiary of that Deutsche Bank, and that Cartel fine they paid before $360 million. They're looking at another one. And I speculate that this may play into a bit of that.
So can you better explain it? You think that this is part of a human trafficking situation as well?
I do, absolutely. And based off information I received from our last podcast, you opened the door got kicked open because people in Kentucky, they've never seen this type of stuff talked about. And that door got kicked open, and the information that came in, it was shocking. I'm still shocked, and I got it all right here.
Yeah, I from that podcast, I had a Ranger buddy reach out to me and say, "Hey, man, you're treading on some very, very touchy stuff." And he has his career in the space as well, and so I knew that we struck a nerve with a lot of people on this. So let's dig in, man. Tell me what's next. So I saw the court documents. You sent them to me. I was able to look at them. But what more? Please continue to unravel it for us in the audience.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That was a whole lot of money. And just seeing where it went, seeing who received this, I don't want to, I want to kick up any more hard feelings. But since then, my girlfriend has been shot at. I got shot at as well again. I did call the police for that. I did ask them to come out here and try to recover ballistics. So that was alarming. All right, let's get into the trip. So my partner Jeremy, familiar with him last time, he was a major assistant out there on the farm, and he put a lot of this financial stuff together. My girlfriend Danny, she's a national advocate against child trafficking, so she jumped on this. And us three had come up with, there's a whole lot of this money down in Florida. It is an extraordinary amount that went down there. So we're watching, and I know you had mentioned to me, you said, when you start seeing private claims, pay attention. Well, we did. And we paid attention to those, and we followed the leads, and we went all the way down to kind of central South Florida. She's got some history there. So we made a list of all the businesses that got money from this. And we had a feeling that they were fraudulent. So anybody here, I can say that my business is, Overwatch Security Group, and it's registered at my home. Many people do that. Sure. But the difference here are these businesses were registered in Florida. They have no physical location whatsoever, and we had to go prove that. So we went down to Florida, specifically Sebring, Florida, and then Lakeland, Florida, and all we did was drive around and show that those businesses do not physically exist. They're in empty lots, and they're just shell companies for laundering. So I believe that there was 167 of those, something like that. And we investigated all of them, and none of them exist physically. So
You
they were
took pictures of the locations?
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And since then, we've invested in the drone. I mean, it's fun. We've gotten pretty good at it, pretty skilled at flying the drone, and that is I see why those are implemented as much as they are in combat, surveillance, everything. Because man, when that thing's there and it's gone, it's already got what it needs, and that's photos and everything. You don't even know it's there until you hear it.
Let me ask you a question here. The names that you have popped up that you found in this investigation that are receiving money, that received part of this $4 billion that's been identified. Have you been able to identify these people personally? Have you been able to track some of their companies? And if so, is there anything that's alarming in that group of individuals that stands out to you?
Yes, there is. Good question. We've identified pretty much all of that. What stands out to me is the massive amount of realty, because now I have questions of, okay, this money was placed into physical assets, homes, and everything. One guy who works with the gentleman that got $232 million, who also got a chunk of money, just wasn't that huge, owns 277 properties in Florida. 277. So it's quite significant. We did identify a church where a lot of this was going through. That one bothered me quite a bit. I was like, wow.
What kind of church was it?
It was a Pentecostal church. It's pretty shocking. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
that's
shocking.
interesting.
So
Yeah,
Go
keep going. Sorry, my mind is spinning, but go ahead.
yeah, it took a whole different turn. And the reason that even came up, there was a raid in Smithland, Kentucky. Smithland or Livingston County, Kentucky, where Smithland is at. There was an auction sale barn, and we identified that from the beginning in 2023. And once again, when we got the return from the court documents on the 4.5 billion in payouts, well, this livestock auction did a whole lot of ghost cattle, fraudulent cattle sales that did not exist. Well, we started investigating in that county. We started looking around. Simultaneously, there was a legacy media reporter in the area, and she was looking into and reporting on a story of a gentleman by the name of Jon Griggs. He was alleged to be the crypto king. He owned a mansion out in the middle of nowhere, Livingston County, Kentucky. And what got that raided was the ATF. There was a red flag that happened at a local gun store where they bought 20,000 rounds of 300 blackout. So it alerted the ATF. The ATF, the guy also had property in New York City. The NYPD came down here, the Kentucky State Police. It was huge. It was huge.
This episode is brought to you by Phorm, a company that I've been proud to work with for over 11 years. I don't say this lightly. These guys aren't just about supplements. They're about building a community, holding you accountable, and helping people actually change their lives. Their products are top-notch, third-party tested, and designed to help you perform harder, recover faster, and feel your best. And if you haven't tried their protein sticks, well, you're missing out. They're great, packed with protein, convenient, and ridiculously good. Right now, they have an exclusive deal for Borderland listeners. Buy any Phorm product and you'll get a free 5-pack of protein sticks with your order. Head to firstphorm.com/Borderland to claim your free pack while supplies last. Again, that's firstphorm.com/Borderland. Purchase any product and get a free 5-pack of protein sticks. Trust me, they're worth it.
So they raid this mansion in Smithland, Kentucky. Come to find out, there is the owner, Mr. Waltz, had a man in there and was torturing him for Bitcoin passwords. Oh yeah, I mean this is 20 miles physically from here right now. So we start talking to this reporter, and the reason that she called me is because there was a security company that was on the perimeter of this mansion. So she wanted to know if it was me, and I said, no, ma'am, it wasn't me, but I want to know everything about this. I want to know all about it. So she informed me and told me about it. The next day, I get a call from a family services worker He tells me that at that mansion, it's a lot more going on than Bitcoin and torture and crazy amounts of weapons. I mean, that story is all over the internet. She tells me that there was a 13-year-old girl that was found in a ditch outside of that property. And she works for DCBS, which is Family Services here in Kentucky. So she got the call on the 13-year-old. She said, this isn't being talked about. That little girl only spoke German. She did not speak any English. She only spoke German. So
She was alive.
she was alive. Correct. She was alive. And I got this all from Family Services. That tells us that she hadn't been in any type of schools because she knew no English. And it was a neighbor who found her on this property right before this raid happened. So, yeah, that was really alarming. So that brought us into that county. And I said, man, there is child going on. This is beyond awful. So the state police were there, all these agencies were there, and we didn't see, anything said about that. I checked back into the status of the girl with the Family Services employee, and she said that nope, that was it. They took the kid, and it deviated from anything normal that she had seen. So upon further investigation, then there's some dispatch records that came from a surrounding county where a German gentleman had called and said that he had knowledge of somebody being held captive on a property in far out Kentucky. And that's what he was calling about. So yeah, we've got proof of that through a 911 phone call, through the Family Services, the testimony that she gave me, and the witness, the neighbor. So that opened up the doors into going into that county. Fast forward to the 4th of July, we're being contracted to guard. Yeah, we're being contracted to guard fireworks. So this happened kind of middle of June. We're contracted to guard fireworks 4th of July. So it was July the 2nd, July the 3rd, July the 4th. It was a big, so the way they do it here is they take a barge and they park a barge and they have big box trucks and they have fireworks in those. And those are for the surrounding counties. They load them up on the barge and shoot them off on the water. It's a lot safer, excuse me. So we were in charge of watching all those fireworks, and that's for all the counties around. There's a lot of explosives. So I'm heading to that job site, and I've been asking around, and Danny, my girlfriend, she really deserves praise for that because she got into the meat and guts and started talking to people in the area, and that really helped. So Jeremy, my partner, goes to that job site and notices a police officer that's hanging out outside. And he leaves. I'm coming in to relieve him. My girlfriend's on the site. She's helping out with us, sitting there between that shift change because we're still doing our normal jobs here. And just picked up that extra detail because that's a return client. We help him every year. Great dude, retired ATF guy. I like the guy. Jeremy leaves and he notices a police officer and he tells me about it. I'm coming in and I noticed this cop still in the same spot. And I looked at him. I came to a complete stop. I'm former law enforcement, so yeah, I know what it takes to get pulled over, and I know the probable cause that entails that. So I came to a complete stop at this stop sign, and I looked at this guy knowing that he's going to stop me. So I go through a neighborhood, heading to this job post. Sure enough, I see this deputy flying down the road, and he pulls me over. And it was a little bit of a heated conversation. I put the video up on I've got a little personal YouTube channel, so I put it up there so I could share it around and show people. This guy admitted in here, no probable cause for the stop. He wanted to know what I was doing. So basically, in a nutshell, it was a pre-textual traffic stop. The kid told me that he was looking for a black sedan, made up a whole story about a vehicle that matched the description of mine. I believe they were looking for my girlfriend because they knew that she was in the area. And she's a national advocate for child trafficking. And they had just had this situation with this young girl. So I believe that was the reason for that traffic stop. In the traffic stop, this young deputy says to me, anybody can hear this. If I thought that you were the vehicle that I'm looking for, I'll be honest with you, I would have had you out at gunpoint. So yeah, I really had to bite my tongue. I just said, Hey, is that right? So you're not going to win on the side of the road. You're not going to win anything like that. So, I was cordial, whatever, let the stop continue. And they're still dodging complaints to this day. So yeah, that's retaliation with all of this. And here's the other thing, Vince. Like, where are the people who are supposed to be investigating and putting these people in prison?
Yeah, that was one of my next questions. I wanted to ask real quick, how did you connect that individual with the Bitcoin to this case?
The reporter who called me, it just happens to be that he's not exactly involved in this case. It's just in this area,
Another area, just corruption in the area.
Exactly. Yes. And then come to find out from your podcast, a guy contacts me from Dallas and says, hey, I was working on an investigation up there with hemp fraud, a massive amount of hemp fraud. And you're talking about the same people, I think, dude. Can you check your sheets? The same people are involved in a massive hemp fraud that happened 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, these are the same. So we're just saturated with so much banking fraud and all of this crazy crime that, but it was awesome. He watched Borderland podcast, contacted me from Dallas and said, dude, I've been investigating this hemp fraud for 2 years, man. We need to talk. And these names.
I want to pause for a moment and acknowledge a brand that is doing something you don't see very often anymore. GHOSTBED didn't just sponsor an episode. They stepped up to support the entire Ironclad network, and that matters. GHOSTBED is built by people who care deeply about quality. It is a product-first company. Their mattresses are made in America, engineered with advanced cooling technology, breathable materials, and zero shortcuts. They have 3 different collections to choose from, and they've built an online sleep quiz so that you can dial in exactly what works for your body. And behind it all is a real in-house team of sleep experts, never outsourced. Right now, we have an exclusive offer for any of our listeners that beats any other discount out there. Go to ghostbed.com/Borderland and use code Borderland for an extra 15% off site-wide. I've got mine. Now it's time for you guys to go get yours. Go to ghostbed.com/Borderland. Why is it that you have all this information, the courts have all this information, and no one's going after anyone? Who's not enforcing anything? I would imagine that the gentleman you mentioned has 200-something million that was given to him in this case. There has to be a further investigation on, like, who the hell is this dude? Why did he need this kind of money? There's no way this dude brings this in a year, right? Like, not even in 1 year. I doubt he brings in 10 mil.
Right.
So who's supposed to be enforcing this, and why haven't they?
Well, I have a very good theory on why they haven't. So that gentleman that did the 232, we have come to find out, has been to Dubai several times, which that's, it's a little bit abnormal, but okay, people go to Dubai, whatever. His business seems to mirror a business that is registered in Dubai to a T. And the website's full of stock images. I mean, it just looks like you can look at it and see, like, man, this is not legit. And
so what do you believe it is?
Okay. It's definitely trafficking, 100%. And the reason that this is not being investigated is that gentleman has given money in the campaign cycle. Yeah. And we saw it.
So politically, he's connected. He invests in some kind of political. Can you say which party?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Well, we took this so far that we went to the local Republicans, like big campaign. They have a big picnic and they have a huge campaign kickoff. Every big election cycle. It's in Fancy Farm, Kentucky. Well, we kind of infiltrated that and got in, and we saw him there and his daughter there, who runs a lot of these companies, who does a lot of these books for this guy, I call him 232, because that's how much money he got. We saw the former Kentucky Attorney General walk straight up to this guy and shake his hand and hug his damn daughter. The very first, I mean, there's a room full, this is in a gymnasium, there's a ton of people there, didn't talk to the sheriff, went straight to this guy. And I took a picture, went straight to him. I took a couple pictures. Yeah, that said pretty much everything I needed to see, because we've been calling the Kentucky Attorney General's office for 2 years. And I challenge anyone in the audience, if you can get a hold of anybody at the Kentucky Attorney General's office, you're doing a lot better than me, because I have tried and tried and tried, and their phones literally go to voicemail and say that the mailbox is full. Yeah, so nobody wants to touch that, and I know why, because there's so much political corruption. And then what's going to come out? Hey, these people have touched cartel money. Oh, the former attorney general may have touched cartel money. I mean, I found out that guy, the whole reason we went to that political event was from opensecrets.org. I looked up the guy with the sheds, and I was like, wow, he's giving him publicly a lot of money. I bet there's something there. And we went, and I saw it with my eyes. Like, whoa, there is something there, big time. That might explain why they never would return a call. How many times did we call the Kentucky Attorney General's office? For 2 years. For 2 years.
Man, it's kind of this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is the same as your first one. I'm just like, I have chills. Like, this is insane. So this individual owns a company not far from you.
Correct.
What steps can you take to try and I don't know, find someone who's going to take action on this? Is this, look at, if locals is corrupt, and is that what you're saying? Your local law enforcement political parties are corrupt?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you just look at the death investigation that we went over last time, yeah, that says everything. And since then, with the money, with those payout sheets, we've identified police officers from that county, Marshall County, Kentucky, that are in those pay sheets that received money. Oh yeah. Yep, that's there. That is there. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, dang.
John, you're going to get us both killed.
I know. I know. Yeah.
Well, look at, all right, let's keep going. And then I think it's time for us to do something more with this. This is just too insane to me. So you've identified people who've given numbers. Some of the money given was to cops. Besides this massive individual, the 200 million plus, who else stands out to you?
Oh, geez. State representatives. There's state representatives in there. There were over.
And let me. I want to hear it one more time. Is it both sides of the party? Is it left and the right? Is it Democrats and Republicans? Or right now, from where you're standing, it's only one side?
No, it's definitely both. I mean, this same guy gave money to the current governor right now is a Democrat who was absolutely crazy about COVID enforcement, Andy Beshear. So yeah, I mean, and I know why this isn't investigated, because it's at the top of the state. I mean, we've pretty much established that now. And I would love for any federal investigator to call me anytime. Anytime. Call Jeremy anytime. Anytime you want to reach out and know more about this, I would love to be afforded the opportunity to sit down and show you everything that we've gotten. Yeah, I'd love to do that. If anybody's out there, hey, let's do it.
Crazy, man. Okay. So in the cattle side of things, who is there is there's, so from the way I understood it, and also called a couple friends of this, is that for someone, this is part of the original story, those of you listening, there was original estimation of 200,000 cattle heads on his land, right, on the McLean farms.
They said 100,000 cows. And
there you go, 100,000 cows. And when you got there was under 2,000, correct?
Correct.
And they were
emaciated,
right? No food, very little food, dying. It was just sad. Who is it in that area that has to, I guess I would say, what are the steps of getting that approved to really get the money for 100,000 cattle head? There's got to be some kind of system where I don't know who it is, you know what I mean? Some kind of cattle organization that confirms this head is legit, this one is legit, so on and so forth. How does that work real quick so I can better understand that one more time? Well,
the state and the USDA, so the state agriculture and USDA, are supposed to be coordinating with that. There's supposed to be health certificates. I mean, they said that these cows came from Texas, Florida, all different places. There's supposed to be certificates for that. There's supposed to be cattle health certificates on all of this. And so you have none of that. There's no coordination with state agriculture department, federal agriculture department. It's non-existent. And those two, so we all know that 100,000 cows you should have 100,000 acres of farmland. This guy has like 100 period. So to know that this was fraud from the beginning should have been very apparent to everybody.
So, oh my goodness. So, like, I guess what I'm getting at here is, how does money laundering get created from this? It's the bank, right? The bank starts to give loans to him based on his proof of cattle heads, knowing that they're going to flip these cattle heads essentially in sales. Correct?
Correct.
So multiple layers of corruption here, where the state and you said the agricultural, what is it? The
Department of Ag.
So there's something there, and then fast forward, boom, then to the bank. So he's able to take the proof of this to the bank, where the bank has nothing. They just want to see the proof of the heads. Then they front the money, and that's where the money laundering system kind of goes.
Correct. And they also, towards the end of this, started taking in investments. They were going to pinning associations. We've identified that down to a T now with what was happening. It was happening in Oklahoma, around a big college area, Stillwater, Oklahoma. They were transporting with horse trailers. They were bringing show cattle out. And they were saying, hey, because it's like they're showing you, okay, these are the best of the best cattle in the country. Would you be interested in this? So that's kind of where they roped some people in towards the end to basically check.
Gotta get quick money.
Exactly. 100%. You got it.
Interesting. Okay. What we do at Ironclad doesn't happen by accident. It exists because a small number of brands choose to stand behind us. These are brands that believe in the same things we do: craftsmanship, independence, and building something real that lasts. Norwood Sawmills is one of those brands. They believe in the people behind the network, the builders, the landowners, the doers, and the craftsmen who value control over their work and pride in how it's done. That alignment matters to us, and it's why we're proud to stand with them. Norwood Sawmills designs portable sawmills that give you the ability to make your own lumber on your land, on your timeline, without sacrificing quality or performance. For over 30 years, they've been building equipment that's engineered to last and designed to grow with you, whether you're a serious DIY builder or a professional sawyer. If you care about quality, if you care about independence, and if you're considering investing in your land, your projects, your long-term capability, Norwood is worth your time. We encourage you to support the brands that support this network. To learn more, explore their portable sawmills and talk directly to their team at norwoodsawmills.com. So then the connection to Florida. So a lot of the money during this time, this is a period of how long? 4 years?
4 years, correct.
In a period of 4 years, they were able to money launder over $4 billion, potentially $10 billion. And in that, you've seen people get paid out. You have a list of people that have been paid out during this time. Significant amount of money that just doesn't make sense. So obviously it looks like they're associated or they're a part of the money laundering scheme. Some may know what they're doing. Some may not. I don't know. That's just, we'd have to dig into that a little further. But then you've tracked a lot of the businesses that were receiving this money to have no actual physical location, which identifies them to be a complete money laundering scheme. And that is a lot of them. A lot of those businesses were identified to be in Florida. Correct?
90% of them.
And then a lot of real estate was purchased, you believe, from some of the individuals who received a lot of money.
Absolutely. And there's an awesome property searching tool called Laundering. I love that thing. I mean, it's cool. You just put the name in and you filter it like, okay, well, this is definitely the individual. This is his current address, where he resides in Kentucky. And then here's his 277 properties in Florida. And then you can take it even further. You can just take the address and then I can put it on my background app or investigative research tools, put that address in and immediately pull, okay, that's double check. That's his property. Yeah. So that's how we do. That's a lot.
So the reason why no one gets prosecuted is because the state's not going to touch it. The state somehow is involved some way, shape or form. Someone's paid. So they just let it loose. So
That's
it's up
right.
to some kind of federal government entity to decide that they want to focus on this case.
Correct. And I think that it's gotten so far out that it's so far, because there's so many moving parts now, and we've been allowed to digest that and kind of chew on it and see, and even with what we know, we probably have about 10% of what's actually going on. So, I mean, it sounds like we've got a lot, but there is so many more moving parts here. And we're watching these airplanes. One of these guys is on an airport board. One of these guys that got a significant amount of money is sits on an airport board. Yeah, and what's interesting about this is anybody can find this. One of the fraudulent businesses that are named, their airplane just crashed into a house. Just boom, crashed into a house. The FAA went out there, and I ended up calling the FAA, and I said, "Are you aware that this business doesn't have a actual physical location? This is what they mirror. A lot of the times, what they do is they mirror legitimate businesses. The legitimate business existed in Atlanta, Georgia, so they made a copy of that and put it here in Kentucky to where it would look completely legit. And the FAA wasn't too happy about that. They yanked the airport state funding and some other things.
Were you able to identify who was on that plane?
Well, I wasn't physically on that plane, but yes, because the FAA report said that there were 6 individuals and they are named.
Any of those names on the list?
Oh yeah. The business is on the list. Yeah. Yep. That's God right there. That's God. It's got to be.
That's crazy. Okay, so another question I have is the connection to Dubai. Why is that significant?
Well, Dubai is a massive hub for money. I mean, look at the money that's there. There's so much money that comes and goes to Dubai. Dubai has also been named in human trafficking. There's Cartel that operate with individuals from Dubai. I mean, that sounds wild. It's a huge separation, but it happens, and it is happening. Plus, I think it's the biggest sex trafficking hub in the world. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, just the voluminous amounts of money and seeing people from backwoods Kentucky going to Dubai with this amount it's just, we have something there.
The individuals who received a lot of money, are they from Kentucky originally?
A lot of them are, but there's a lot that are spread out in Texas because there was an operation going on in Hereford and Freona. There was an operation going on in Stillwater, Oklahoma. There could have been other operations and we just haven't seen that yet. But yeah, mostly for the most part out of Kentucky, but we have seen some all the way up in Minnesota. We've got one in Canada. So they are spread out, but probably about 80% Kentucky.
My God.
Yeah.
Trying to unravel this in my head. We've got some Florida stuff. I'm just looking at all of it in the big picture, man. I'm just like wondering, how does it get so far out of control? And it's crazy how money can potentially be corrupted. I'm curious to see this kind of play out. What else is there out there that you want to tell the audience?
Okay. So this one, I really want to get into this one. So one of the gentlemen that got a significant amount of money, we're talking 200 million plus as well. We get a tip, which I can't thank you enough again for this, because that first episode, there were so many people that came out of the woodwork and said, "Hey, I'm from Kentucky. I watched this and you guys are not wrong. This is what I've seen." So we've basically taken a lot of all of that, put it together. We've even got a web, we use AI to make a web and just all these offshoots, there's hundreds of them. Well, we were given an email. I searched the email. That particular domain, map-link.com, redirects. So on the surface, it looks like it's maybe a map website out of Kentucky. It looks legitimate. It looks harmless. It looks okay. When you go to this, it is a Chinese sports betting operation. Legitimately a Chinese, it's called Kaiying Sports. Yeah. And there are some disturbing images on there. But on the surface, it looks completely normal. It looks like, without going to the website, it looks like, oh yeah, well, that guy works in cartography or something like that. Sure. when you go to it, just blown away. Like, wow, this is a disguised underground gambling operation. And that's just on the surface. Like, if we're able to find that, the big dogs, hey man, you guys should be able to have biggest, the biggest operation in United States history if you wanted it.
What? All right. What was the website? I mean, you don't have to mention it here if you don't want to, but so there was a website that they were able to give you through an email, so the insider tip.
Yep, correct.
And so then it redirects you to a Chinese betting website.
Yeah, that has been sanctioned in the past for human trafficking and forced labor. Yeah, called Cayenne Sports. Yep. Yep.
So
That's how I know we're cooking with gas. I mean, there's these things just one after the other, after the other, after the other.
I mean, it's crazy because it's all tied in, right? It seems like money's given to certain people so they can help kind of facilitate this money laundering, but also facilitate whether it's, you know, the fake cattle, whether it be drugs, whatever it is, these people all seem to be assisting in it. And then they get paid for it. And then they go and do their own version of what they want, like their own version of corruption.
Right.
Correct?
Right. And the cattle, like you said, the cattle are just they're just the base layer. It was just an easy commodity to dump money into. And to
Did
go.
you mention the website that it was originally?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to mention it again?
Yeah, it's map-link.com, maplink.com, and it redirects to Cayenne Sports. And I suggest if anybody goes to that, use a VPN. Yeah, and it's registered. What's interesting about that too is when we were digging around into that, it first came up that the physical location for that gentleman with that email, that could have been close to a law enforcement agency. I don't want to get more into that, but yeah, in proximity, pretty close.
Yeah. Do you remember that movie where The Rock comes home The Rock, and he has a 2x4 essentially? It's almost like Rambo, but instead it's a Rock version, and the whole city's corrupt by a group of people. That's what this is starting to feel like. This is starting to feel like a fucking movie, dude.
Walking tall, baby. Walking tall.
Yeah.
That's it.
What else, man? Is there anything else?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's funny you mentioned that. So I believe that by the time this episode airs, this will have already taken place. So I found out that there is a position open within the county, and it's a law enforcement position. And it's a position that the state of Kentucky's kind of tried to do away with. It was customary for a while, but now it's back. And all you've got to do is take your constitutional elected office training. It's for constable. So nobody ran for this here. Nobody ran for that office yet. And there's a deadline, and that deadline is next week. So I've gotten the paperwork, and I'm able to slide into that office because it's uncontested. So now I'm going to have a little capacity to do these things.
Are you gonna for sure become the constable, you believe?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's done. No one else is, it's uncontested completely. Unless they can figure out a write-in for this. We slid into it, and we've had somebody at the courthouse watching to see if anyone's filed yet or anything. So I've had a heads up. I knew I couldn't do it weeks ago because they'd find somebody to run. I got to do it at the last minute. So that it looks like we're.
That's good. So that's going to give you a little bit more capability to further investigate things. Man, that's exciting.
Yeah, you have to come down to a ride along.
Yeah, I was going to call you. We'll talk for sure. For sure. What else, man?
Well,
let me give me one more last thing before we wrap this up.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, we've had, your audience is great. Ironclad audience, Borderlands, you guys are great. We've had people reach out to us just from all across the country. Y'all did a great job of filtering those back with us. We've done some investigative consulting with a company in St. Louis, Shadow Company. They found some good stuff for us. The last thing I've got here is this with the kids. I mean, I am really, really concerned about the
Yeah, I wanted to see, how did that all connect?
Okay, so that came through the that Smith Mansion raid, that big raid on that. That's where well, that's when the focus really became there, because we got contacted by that state employee, and due to Danny's background and anti-trafficking, she said there's something here. There is something big going on with this. The family services was not acting right after that. They wouldn't talk about anything after that with the kid. So that got swept away and covered up. But I've got the neighbors report. I've got the family services report on that. And I've got the reporter who went and talked to these people. Now, this is a legacy media reporter. She talked to these people in Smithville, Kentucky, and she said, "You're right. I talked to the family services girl. I talked to the neighbor, and I talked to a couple sources that I built down there." She said it was a 13-year-old girl, and she was found in a ditch. So, yeah, Danny deserved credit for basically making all that, syncing all that up and making that investigation happen for us. And I would absolutely love to sit down with some credentialed anti-trafficking people and take them to these places. I can take you there. I can physically take you.
Yeah. Yeah, man, look, use this time right now to talk to the audience and ask for whatever assistance you need. If any information that you're looking for, please, and direct them to where they should go to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. So if you go to Overwatch Security Group, Kentucky.com, Overwatch, or I can, you know what, when we get done, I'll just send you the website link, and we can have that. So Overwatch Security Group, Kentucky, you can go there. My email is on there. It's a Proton email, so feel free to shoot me if you want to connect. If you have skills in open source intelligence, we would love to have your assistance. If you have skills in this financial fraud investigations, we would love to have further help, because we are not even maybe 30% into that 4.5 billion with the 2,000 payments. We just kind of sifted through all this. We weren't able to go through each transaction, each of those 2,000. We grabbed names and looked at that. So we would need help with that. Yeah, so we're still doing this out of our pocket. We're buying drones. We're in our spare time, this is what we do. I mean, yeah, we still have fun and do a little bit of other stuff, but yeah. And anybody who's got experience in like cybersecurity with some of this stuff, with the
I got a guy. I'll connect you with him later.
hell yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, any type of help. And your audience, I can't say enough great things, because we got so much support, and that really that lifted my spirits up, because our spirits were down. There was nothing.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your hard work and effort. Your team, your partner as well. Tell him I said thank you. I know he's in the room, so thank you so much. I'm excited for this episode to come out, and hopefully, this shakes up a few more things for us to get more in details of what's going on out there.
Absolutely. I can't thank you enough, Vince. You're great. Audience is great. And yeah, if we get in this position, anybody wants to come right along and hang out, hit us up.
Thank you for listening to Borderland Narcosis, an Ironclad original presented by Phorm. Go check out your Phorm supplements at firstform.com/borderland. Take care.